Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our 2:30 streaming show. My name is Jamie French.
And I'm Robinson Miles. Now, we're going to start today with breaking news. Law enforcement officials are responding to a report of an officer-involved shooting in Mount Vernon. That's according to Indiana State Police Sergeant Todd Ringel, who tells us this happened in the area of Copperline Road and State Road 69.
Yeah, Sergeant Ringel says an ISP trooper was not involved in the shooting. However, state police are the ones investigating it. Police say the person that was hurt in the shooting was not an officer. Now, State Road 69 north of Copperline Road is closed as officials work to investigate that. Our Emma Beck is there on scene. She's working to learn some more information from officers right now. Of course, we'll keep you updated as we learn more.
Now, at the same time, Kentucky State Police officials are encouraging drivers to keep some essential resources in their vehicles as the severe winter weather approaches. KSP Trooper Corey King shared what kinds of items drivers should be included in your winter emergency kit. Now, some of those items include blankets, sock caps, gloves, layers of clothing, hand warmers, a flashlight, an ice scraper, water, and snacks.
Yeah, he says cold weather can also affect car batteries, so try to make sure that you have jumper cables in the car. Of course, this winter storm will have a statewide impact in Kentucky. Bashir said they've got crews out on the roads trying to, pre-treat, prepare. They've got the heavy-duty trucks, off to the side, ready to start digging out from the snow. Of course, we are not really the ones to tell you all about the weather. That is Miss Arden Gregory's job, who you'll hear from in just a second. But I can assure you that on the news side of things, from our standpoint, we're covering a lot to prepare for this winter storm that's headed our way, some resources and things that you'll want to know to stay safe.
Sure, we're taking a varied approach today. Of course, we've got reporters and photographers all over the tri-state trying to get as many angles of this, gather as much information as we can. But until we're able to come back with all that information later tonight, of course, 14 News at 4, 5, 6, and 10, we'll go ahead and hand things over to our resident expert who knows a bit more than we do.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, don't go anywhere. Arden will be here right after the break.
Good afternoon. I'm 14 First Alert meteorologist Arden Gregory here with an updated look at your forecast as we are still on alert. We've been on alert all week long preparing for this winter storm that is moving in this weekend. We have now extended that first alert weather day, by the way, to also include Monday. Now, this is for a couple of different things here. We've got the snow, maybe even a little bit of ice in parts of Kentucky. It is going to be brutally cold, and then obviously there are going to be some travel hazards created by that. Now, the main focus is still on that snow Saturday and Sunday. So the snow is going to be this weekend, but we've continued the alert day into Monday because none of that snow is going to melt. So we're still going to have a lot of travel hazards on Monday, but Monday is also going to be dangerously cold. So let's start with a look at the alerts. I mean, would you believe how big this winter storm is going to be here? We have winter storm watches and warnings and ice storm warnings and weather advisories. I mean, stretching all the way from Arizona up into New England. These watches and warnings span 2,000 miles across the country here. About half of the U.S. is bracing for winter weather right now. So this is a huge storm system, and the tri-state is caught up in that as well. We had been under a winter storm watch to kind of give you a heads up about that potential winter weather this weekend. That has now been upgraded, and we are all now under a winter storm warning as the time to prepare for this winter weather is starting to run out. We've really just got one more day, Friday, to get ready, and then by Saturday, that storm system is going to be moving in. So right now, it is mostly sunny across the tri-state. We've had quite a bit of sunshine all day long today. We will see some clouds moving in tonight and tomorrow, but we're still going to be dry. Even though it's going to be partly to mostly cloudy, it's going to be dry all the way through Friday night. So tonight, tomorrow night, you're fine. By Saturday morning, that's where you need to be ready, because by Saturday morning, some snow showers will start to move in from the west. Now, this may have kind of a slow start to it. On Saturday, it looks like we'll have lighter, more scattered, kind of fluffy, dry snow moving in. It could still be snowing at a pretty good clip through the middle of the day on Saturday, but really it looks like it'll be kind of light and scattered for much of the day on Saturday. Saturday night then is when kind of the core of this storm system moves into the tri-state. You see those dark bluish purple shades there? That's indicating the potential for heavy snow Saturday night continuing into Sunday morning. Also notice across parts of western Kentucky, that pink showing up there, along with that heavy snow, there could be some wintry mix, maybe a little bit of ice in with the snow Saturday night into Sunday morning just for parts of western Kentucky. Then all of this starts to gradually taper back off as we go into Sunday afternoon. So for most of the tri-state, we are on alert for heavy snow. This is going to be several inches of snow from Saturday through Saturday night into Sunday morning, with the bulk of that snow, the heaviest snow, falling Saturday night. For places like McLean, Hopkins, Muhlenberg, and Ohio counties, you could maybe see some ice mixed in with your snow. So you may see a little less snow than the rest of us because some of your precipitation will probably be some ice, some freezing rain or sleet. So be aware of that. Ice is more dangerous than snow. I still think you will have mainly snow, but there is that potential for some ice just in our far southern counties in western Kentucky. So Hopkins, Muhlenberg, Ohio, and McLean, you need to be prepared for that. Everyone else, it looks like this will probably be all snow, but ice or snow, the entire tri-state is talking about moderate to major impacts here. Once you start getting into moderate impacts, that's where we're talking about some widespread travel issues, widespread closures. I would guess a lot of churches will close on Sunday morning. I would say a lot of businesses and schools will probably be closed this weekend and into Monday as well. So there's a lot going on there. Notice they've got major and maybe even some spots of extreme impacts as you get down into the deep south. That's because those areas are probably going to see more of that ice. But here at home, again, just to go over kind of a broader view of the timing for those of you who maybe missed it. These snow showers start to move in Saturday morning. We have scattered snow through the day on Saturday, but then heavy snow Saturday night, possibly changing over to a little bit of ice in far southern western Kentucky. That snow sticks with us into Sunday morning, so still snowing heavily into Sunday morning. Then it tapers off as we get into Sunday afternoon, and by Sunday night into Monday, we will all be dry and clear, but very, very cold. Now, meteorologist Michael Fecka right now is looking at some of the new data that just came in and working up a clearer total map for the entire tri-state, because we're just now starting to get in that window where some of our higher resolution models can really see all the way through the end of this system Sunday afternoon. But as a general outlook, I would say most of the tri-state probably going to get 6 to 10 inches of snow. Up to 14 inches is within the realm of possibility. Now that would be the outlier. That would be if this overperforms. So that's possible, but not likely. Either way though, really, once you start talking about half a foot of snow, once we get into 6 inches and beyond, the impacts are not all that dramatically different. You know, when you're talking about 1 inch versus 4 inches, you know, that kind of stuff, you're talking about a change in impact. 6 inches and beyond, the impact is essentially the same. It's going to shut much of the tri-state down. We're just not prepared to deal with that kind of snow here. Don't sweat the details too much as far as exactly how much snow you might get at your house. For the entire tri-state, we are talking about a significant and impactful snowstorm that will shut down travel, shut down businesses, shut down schools, shut down places of worship for much of the tri-state. You know, some places will still be open, the places that are always open. Some of us still have to go to work no matter what, but really, I would urge you to have whatever you need to have before we get to this weekend. Have gas in your car, have groceries in your refrigerator, because you don't want to be out on the roads if you don't have to be this weekend. And know that these impacts will carry over into Monday. Nothing is going to melt on Monday. It is going to be brutally cold, which is kind of part 2 of this first alert weather day that I'm going to talk about in just a second. First, I want to check in on the comments, see what questions we might have today. Some folks are excited about the snow. You know, we've got some snow lovers. Other people maybe not so excited, mainly those who still have to work and get out in it either way. Zach asking about ice in Evansville specifically. I really think any chance of ice is going to stay contained to western Kentucky. So places like Madisonville, Greenville, Central City, Hartford, Beaver Dam, up into Calhoun even. You would maybe need to be concerned about a little bit of ice this weekend, but for places like Henderson, Newburgh, Evansville, and especially as you get farther north up places like Princeton, I really think this is going to be mostly, if not completely, snow for us. So I'm not concerned about ice in Evansville, which is good news. Ice is more dangerous than snow. It's slicker, it's harder to remove, it causes power outages. Ice is no good. Nobody wants ice. So unfortunately, it does seem like parts of western Kentucky might get a little bit of ice, and with ice, even a little bit is enough to cause problems. But for most of the tri-state, I really think this will be all snow. But it's going to be a lot of snow, so we're still going to have pretty big impacts here. Good afternoon, Phyllis. Some folks asking about very specific locations here. Again, it's still too early to tell for certain, but the impact is going to be pretty much the same across the whole tri-state. All right, and some folks just bummed about it, saying that they hate winter. Some folks asking how much ice down in western Kentucky. The models have been a little inconsistent with that. Most of them are showing a glazing up to maybe 1/10 of an inch, which would certainly be enough to cause some impacts. I don't think this is going to be a major ice storm. You know, in the past we have had those. We're familiar with what that looks like. I don't think this is going to be a major ice storm. I think it will be a little bit of ice mixed in with mainly snow. But it is possible that you could get 1/10 of an inch of ice in parts of western Kentucky. And again, exactly how far north that will make it is a little uncertain. Some models have it stopping closer to Hopkinsville and not even making it this far. Others bring it almost all the way up to Owensboro. I think most likely situation is the map I was showing you just a moment ago, showing really just up to maybe Hopkins, Muhlenberg, Ohio, and parts of McLean County. Everything north of that will probably be all snow, but those areas could get a little bit of ice mixed in with their snow. Now, I mentioned part 2 of this is the dangerous cold. Those temperatures are going to start dropping tonight. So right now, our temperatures ranging from the mid to upper 30s to even lower 40s. It's 36 in Evansville, 38 in Owensboro. We're going to get into the mid-teens tonight, but the wind chills will likely dip into the single digits. So late tonight into early tomorrow morning, it's already going to be getting very cold. Tomorrow is going to be breezy, and that is going to be a cold wind coming in from the north. So tomorrow afternoon, our temperatures will probably break into the low 20s, but it is not going to feel like the lower 20s. We'll probably spend most of the day with wind chills in the single digits, and it gets even colder from there. As we get into this weekend, we're looking at highs in the teens and lows in the single digits. I think Friday night into Saturday morning, lows will be in the single digits. Saturday night into Sunday morning, maybe not as cold. It's going to be actively snowing though. And then as that snow moves out, that's when the brutal cold really sets in. Sunday night into Monday morning, I think our lows could dip down to near zero. And then again, only reaching the low to mid teens Monday afternoon, still down into the single digits to near zero Tuesday morning. Then during the day Tuesday, we start to warm back up a bit. So that's a look at temperatures. Let's look at how cold it may actually feel though, because when it's that cold, even a gentle breeze can make it feel even colder. Tonight, I mentioned those wind chills dipping into the single digits. There's a good chance it'll remain in the single digits through the day tomorrow due to that cold wind that will be just whipping in from the north throughout the day tomorrow. Friday night into Saturday morning, very possible wind chills will dip to below 0 Friday night. Then we've got the scattered snow moving in on Saturday. Saturday night into Sunday, wind chills probably in the single digits for most of us. Then as that snow starts to move out Sunday afternoon and evening, that's when the sharply colder air really moves in. I think Monday, there's a good chance Monday morning wind chills will be near or below 0, probably remaining in the single digits for most of us, even into Monday afternoon. And then Monday night into Tuesday morning, again, those wind chills possibly dipping below 0 before we start to warm back up again on Tuesday. So I want you to keep in mind, we're going to get quite a bit of snow, at least 6 inches, I would say. Good chance that at least a few of us could even get into the double digits on our snow totals this weekend. But then look at these temperatures. We stay below freezing. This snow is not going anywhere. We will have snow on the ground. There's a good chance for all of next week. Even when we warm up, we're talking about warming into the mid-20s. Then we've got another weaker cold front that moves through on Wednesday. That could maybe bring us a flurry, but I'm really not seeing much from that. What it will do, though, is reinforce that cold air. It stops the warm up and puts our temperatures back into the upper teens. So the point is, we're going to get quite a bit of snow this weekend, and then it's going to be brutally cold, and that snow is not going anywhere. That's also something you want to keep in mind if you are going to be on the roads at all. Be very mindful that this could be a dangerous situation if you get stuck somewhere, because it is going to be dangerously cold. You don't want to get stuck in a car, that's stuck in the snow when it's going to be this cold outside. So please be very mindful of that. Move your plans. Do what you can to avoid being on the roads this weekend. And if you do, for whatever reason, absolutely have to be on the roads, please make sure that somebody knows when you're leaving, when you're arriving, knows to look for you if you don't show up. Make sure you've got an emergency kit in your car with lots of things to keep you warm and safe. Just do all the things you can to protect yourself, as we are expecting quite a bit of snow this weekend. And then along with that, brutally cold temperatures, not just this weekend, but continuing into the start of next week. That's why Monday's an alert day. We're not going to get more snow on Monday. Monday's going to be dry, but it is going to be so cold. It will be dangerously cold. Wind chills maybe even dipping below 0, and with that, the snow will not be going anywhere. So the impacts from that snow this weekend will very much still be with us into Monday. All right, let's check in on the comments here. All right, people asking about impact past Monday. I mean, we're not going to get above freezing. So it's possible that there's still going to be snow on the ground and maybe even snow on the roads in some of those more rural areas. If they don't ever come plow your road is still going to have snow on it, very possibly all the way through next week. So that is something to keep in mind. It's going to warm up some. I mean, if we get into the mid to upper 20s with a little bit of sunshine, you could maybe melt some of that snow, but this isn't going to be a dusting. This is going to be several inches of snow. It's going to take more than 28 degrees and a little sunshine to start to burn that off. So there's a good chance we're going to have snow on the ground through all of next week. I didn't keep the alert days going because I don't want to just be on alert until the snow melts. I want to make sure that we're really driving home which days are going to be the most impactful. These are the days the snow is going to fall, and then this is going to be the coldest day. So that's why those are the 3 alert days. But it will still be cold, and there will still be snow on the ground beyond that as well. I just didn't want to light up the whole 7-day with flashing red alerts and drown out the days that I really want you to focus on, which is that the weekend is when that snow is going to fall, and then Monday is when the coldest temperatures are going to hit. Some people asking about Indiana. I don't think Indiana will get ice. Let me pull that map back up for you here real quick. Let me scroll back up and find that. So, you know what, let's just circle back around and we'll start with the timing, and then I'll show you that map just to show you what I'm looking at. So it's going to be cloudy but dry tomorrow. Then by Saturday morning, that's when that snow starts to move in. During the day Saturday, we're talking about scattered snow showers. It'll snow kind of on and off throughout the day Saturday. Then the core of that storm system is expected to move through Saturday night. That's when we're looking at heavy snow, probably a slightly wetter snow. I think starting out on Saturday, it's probably going to be very dry, powdery snow. Then as we get closer to the center of that storm system, it may be heavier, wetter, larger flakes falling. Lots of snow Saturday night, and that snow sticks with us then into Sunday morning. But I want you to notice this area highlighted in pink there. That's where you could see that change over to some ice. So again, for most of the tri-state, that's not a concern. But right here in parts of western Kentucky, we could see some of that ice pushing into that area. And then it kind of changes back over to snow on its way out, then tapering off Sunday afternoon. But here's the map I was originally looking for. Most of the tri-state, you're on alert for that heavy snow. Not really concerned about ice in Indiana or even for much of western Kentucky, sort of right along the river there. It's when you head farther south, especially as you get down closer to Muhlenberg County, Hopkins, Ohio counties. Those are the areas where you could really see less snow than the rest of us because some of your precipitation is going to be ice. So everyone in the blue here, I'm thinking you're going to get all snow. It's going to be a lot of snow, but it's going to be all snow. As you head south into these areas highlighted in pink, that's where I think you will get some snow and maybe a little bit of ice mixed in as well. So some snow, then maybe mixing over to a little bit of ice, then back over to snow. I think it will be mainly snow, but even a little bit of ice can be problematic, right? So that's my concern there with parts of western Kentucky. Everyone generally looking at moderate to major impacts though. So no matter where you are in the tri-state, the messaging is the same. Sometimes we get really fixated on exact numbers. How much snow is it going to get here versus here versus here versus here? We are going to get enough snow that, you know, who had 6 versus who had 9 is not going to make a world of difference. Either way, you're not going to be able to get out on the roads, right? Once we get up to that point, the impacts are generally the same, where you're talking about multiple inches of snow. Everyone is going to have widespread travel impacts. Everyone's going to have widespread closures, the entire tri-state. So the impact is generally the same for all of us. And also keep in mind, if you're trying to travel this weekend, especially if you're trying to head south, that is probably not a good idea. I would change those plans because this is a huge storm system and it is going to have moderate to major impacts for about half of the United States. I mean, it's starting out in Oklahoma and Texas tomorrow and then marching its way through our region this weekend and then moving on off to the East Coast on Monday. So this is going to be a huge storm system with widespread impacts. Areas to the south of us will probably get more of that ice. So headed down toward Bowling Green, Nashville, those areas are seeing more of an ice storm impact there. Whereas here that ice would really just impact, like I said, those 3 southernmost counties, maybe 4 if you include McLean County in that. You're kind of right at the cusp. For most of the tri-state, this is going to be heavy snow Saturday night into early Sunday, and then that snow tapers off Sunday afternoon. But again, we are talking about a widespread snow, widespread cold, and widespread travel impacts as we go through this weekend and into the start of next week. So please just be prepared for that. All right, trying to check in on, find where I was at on the comments when I... Again, some people asking about specific locations. Right now, Michael Fecka is working on making a more specific map, but really it doesn't seem like from one part of the tri-state to another there's going to be a dramatic difference. The only difference would be those of you who are maybe going to get a little ice will, as a result, get a little less snow. For everyone else, the results are going to be very, very similar. The whole tri-state in that window of getting, I'd say, at least 6. I'd say 6 to 8 inches of snow is a safe bet. It's possible we could get up into the double digits, closer to a foot, maybe if this overperforms as much as 14 inches of snow. Now that sounds like a pipe dream, but I mean, this is going to be a huge storm system. So it is within the realm of possibility. But either way, we're all talking about 6 inches or more of snow. And once you get past that 6-inch mark, you're talking about everything shutting down anyway. So the impacts at that point are essentially the same, whether you're talking 6, 8, or 10. Either way, you're not going anywhere. All right. People saying they're just trying to prepare. Some folks asking again about where that ice line is going to be drawn. I showed you that just now. I think it's really going to be Hopkins, Muhlenberg, Ohio, and maybe parts of McLean County. If you're not included in that, you're probably going to get completely, mostly if not completely snow at that point. Some folks asking if things could still change. Certainly. We're still a couple days away. This snow, the heaviest snow especially, isn't going to hit till Saturday night. We're still 2 whole days away. We're just now getting to where our higher resolution models can even see all the way to Saturday or Sunday afternoon, I should say. So a lot of our models only go 3 days out. So sitting here on Thursday afternoon, we're just now getting to where those higher resolution models can see to Sunday afternoon when this is all finally going to stop. So getting just now a real clearer picture of when exactly the snow could start, how much different places could get, and obviously over the next 2 days, those details could still change. But one thing that we're confident in is that this is going to be a major snowstorm for the entire tri-state. This is going to be an impactful winter storm. If the track changes, we could maybe see some minor changes to those snow totals, or maybe see some minor changes as to how far north or south that ice would get. One thing that's not going to change, it's not like we're going to come on here tomorrow and say, oh, snowstorm's gone. You can hope, but I really don't see that happening. This is going to be a major and impactful snowstorm for the entire tri-state happening this weekend. All right. I'm still reading the comments here. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure I answer everybody's questions. Some folks are concerned about their having to work, saying that they maybe have to work on Sunday. I'll just tell you right now how we're preparing for this is a lot of the folks who are going to be here covering this event on Sunday are getting hotel rooms close to the station Saturday night, because we are concerned we're not going to be able to make it home and back Saturday night from Sunday morning. So just know that for those of you who do have to work on Sunday, I don't know what your situation is, but it is going to be very difficult to travel anywhere in the tri-state Sunday morning. For that matter, it's still going to be pretty hard to travel on Monday. Now, obviously, it's going to stop snowing sometime Sunday afternoon. So they've got Sunday evening and all of Sunday now to get out and plow those roads. A lot of the main roads will probably be cleared of snow by Monday. But those back roads, those side roads, the ones that haven't been treated yet, those are still going to be covered in several inches of snow. And it is all going to stick. I want to make sure I'm clear on that too. Sometimes we get these situations where, temperatures are going to be right at the cusp. We don't know how much it's going to stick. Every single flake that falls in the tri-state this weekend is going to stick. Our temperatures are going to be below freezing from tonight until further notice. It's very possible our wind chills will be in the single digits or below from tonight until Tuesday morning. So it is going to be very cold out there. Every single bit of snow that falls will stick. It's just a question now of exactly how much snow we're going to get and what the snow ratio is going to be, because how much moisture and what the exact temperature is determines how fluffy the snow is, how much it stacks up versus kind of a compact, heavy snow. And so when we measure it in inches using like a ruler, obviously that can sometimes change. If you get a denser, heavier, wetter snow, it'll kind of pack down and it won't stack up as much. It won't measure as high. Whereas if it's more of a light, fluffy snow, that tends to stack up really nice and fluffy, and it'll give you a higher total. So that's really where you get into the nitty gritty, is that ratio of how much water, the exact temperature when the snow is falling. That's where you start to get into that nitty gritty. But all of the snow is going to stick, and it is going to be a significant amount that will cause widespread travel issues, widespread closures, and it's then not going to go anywhere because our temperatures will still be below freezing into the start of next week. In fact, we're still on alert Monday because Monday will be dangerously cold with wind chills below 0 possible. All right, hopefully I answered everyone's questions here. I'm not seeing any new ones pop up, and we've been on for nearly half an hour here. So Michael Fecka is working on some new maps, some updated ways to kind of show you this information, and he'll have an updated look at your forecast on 14 News tonight at 4, 5, and 6, and then he'll have our streaming show at 9, and then the news tonight at 10 as well. But the entire weather team is going to be here all weekend long. We're going to be, taking shifts, taking turns, keeping you covered and bringing you updates as this snow is moving in. We'll have updates almost constantly all weekend long as this gets closer and is moving through, and obviously bringing you updates on the impacts as that snow starts to fall, how the roads are doing and things like that. So we will make sure we bring you the latest information just as often as we can. So I hope you'll keep it tuned to 14 News. There may still be some changes. We're still, a day and a half out from this actually getting here. So obviously there could still be some details to work out here. But the main thing I want to drive home is this is going to be a major winter storm. We don't get snowstorms like this all that often. It's been a little while since we've had one. So make sure that you're prepared. Make sure you've got your emergency kits ready to go. Make sure that you're going to be wherever you're going to be on Saturday, right? Don't be out running around still trying to get errands done. Don't be out hanging out with people Saturday night. Just go home and be prepared to stay home. And also, neighbors, friends, family, make sure to check on them too, especially the elderly and people who live alone. Just make sure that they're riding out this snowstorm okay too. All right, we all got to stick together in this. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, but Michael will have an updated forecast for you on 14 News at 4, so tune in then. Have a great rest of your day.